listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 113. We are continuing in the book of Joshua, and we see another miracle from God. The Israelites haven't seen a miracle like this since way back in Egypt. You thought parting the Red Sea was the only time that ever happened. Well, everybody thought that. I want you to think from the perspective of the enemies, those who already live across the Jordan River. If you see a huge, uncrossable river, you might be thinking, well, how are the Israelites going to cross? How would an army of 40,000 men cross the great river? They would have to go over a bridge of some sort. So maybe you would place your men at the bridge to defend it. But what nobody was counting on is that God would open the river up just like the Red Sea. And together with God, Joshua is just getting started. And we are also continuing in the book of Luke. And we're getting closer to the time of Jesus' execution. And this is the Passover meal, the night before. And we see Jesus giving even tiny prophecies, such as the things that are going to happen in the next few hours. And all of those things come true. And then Jesus reveals a great betrayer among his closest followers. So for more details, stay with us and refer to the show notes to follow along. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Joshua chapter 3. Miracle at the Jordan River. Early the next morning, Joshua and all the Israelites got up and left Acacia. They traveled to the Jordan River and camped there before they crossed it. After 3 days, the leaders went through the camp. They told the people, "When you see the box of the agreement of the Lord, your God, being carried by the Levite priests, follow it. You have not gone this way before, but if you follow the box of the agreement, you will see where to go. But do not follow too closely. Stay about a kilometer behind it." Then Joshua told the people, "Make yourselves pure. Tomorrow, the Lord will do amazing things among us." Then Joshua said to the priests, "Take the box of the agreement and go across the river in front of the people." So the priests lifted the box and carried it in front of the people. Then the Lord said to Joshua,
"Today I will make the Israelites begin to see that you are a great leader. Then the people will know that I am with you, just as I was with Moses. The priests will carry the box of the agreement. Tell them this: walk to the shore of the Jordan River and stand in the water."
Then Joshua said to the Israelites, "Come and listen to the words of the Lord your God. Here is proof that the living God is really with you, and that he will surely defeat your enemies. He will defeat the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, Amorites, and Jebusites. He will force them to leave their land. The box of the agreement of the Lord of the whole world will go before you as you cross the Jordan River. Now choose 12 men, one from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The priests will carry the holy box of the Lord. He is the Lord of the whole world. They will carry that box in front of you into the Jordan River. When they enter the river, the water of the Jordan River will stop. The river will stop flowing and pile up like a wall." The priests carried the box of the agreement, and the people left the place they had camped. The people started going across the Jordan River. During harvest time, the Jordan River overflows its banks, so the river was at its fullest. The priests who were carrying the box came to the shore of the river, when they stepped into the water, immediately the water stopped flowing and piled up like a wall. The water piled up high, a long way up the river, all the way to Adam, a town near Zarethan. And the water flowing down to the Dead Sea was completely cut off. People crossed the river near Jericho. The ground at that place became dry, and the priests carrying the box of the Lord's agreement stood in the middle of the river on dry ground. They waited there while all the Israelites walked across the Jordan River on dry land. Joshua chapter 4. Rocks to remind the people. After all the people had crossed the Jordan River, the Lord said to Joshua,
Choose 12 men, one from each tribe. Tell them to go to the middle of the river where the priests are standing and get 12 rocks from there. Tell them to carry these rocks with them and put them down where you camp tonight.
So Joshua chose one man from each tribe and called the 12 men together. He said to them, Go to the middle of the river where the holy box of the Lord your God is. Each of you pick up one rock and carry it on your shoulder. There will be one rock for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. These rocks will be a sign for you. In the future, your children will ask you, What do these rocks mean? You will tell them that the Lord stopped the water from flowing in the Jordan River. When the box of the Lord's agreement crossed the river, the water stopped flowing. These rocks will help the Israelites remember this forever. So the Israelites did what Joshua told them to do. They carried 12 rocks from the middle of the Jordan River, one for each tribe, as the Lord had commanded Joshua. Then they put the rocks at the place where they had set up camp. Joshua also put 12 rocks in the middle of the Jordan River. He put them at the place where the priests had stood while carrying the holy box. These rocks are still there today. The priests who were carrying the holy box stood in the middle of the river until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done. The people hurried across the river while the priests stood there. After the people finished crossing the river, the priests carried the holy box of the Lord to the front of the people. The men from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh obeyed Moses. These men crossed the river in front of the rest of the people. These men were prepared for war. About 40,000 soldiers prepared for war passed before the Lord. They were marching towards the plains of Jericho. That day, the Lord made the Israelites see Joshua as a great leader. From that time on, they respected Joshua just as they had Moses. Then the Lord said to Joshua,
Command the priests carrying the box that holds the agreement to come out of the river.
So Joshua commanded the priests, Come out of the Jordan River! The priests obeyed Joshua. They carried the box of the Lord's agreement with them and came out of the river. When their feet touched the land on the other side of the river, the water in the river began flowing again. The water again overflowed its banks just as it had before the people crossed. The people crossed the Jordan River on the 10th day of the first month and camped at Gilgal, east of Jericho. They carried with them the 12 rocks that they had taken from the Jordan River, and Joshua set them up at Gilgal. Then Joshua told the Israelites, In the future, your children will ask you, What do these rocks mean? Tell them, These rocks help us remember the way the people of Israel crossed the Jordan River on dry land. The Lord your God caused the water in the Jordan River to stop flowing, so that you could cross it on dry land, just as the Lord had stopped the water at the Red Sea, so that we could cross it on dry land. The Lord did this so that all the people in this country would know that He is very powerful. Then they will always be afraid of the Lord your God. Joshua chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. So the Lord dried up the Jordan River until the Israelites finished crossing it. The kings of the Amorites living west of the Jordan River and the Canaanites living along the coast heard about this and became very frightened. After that, they were not brave enough to stand and fight against the Israelites. The Israelites are circumcised. At that time, the Lord said to Joshua,
Make knives from flint rocks and circumcise the men of Israel.
So Joshua made knives from flint rocks and circumcised the men of Israel at Gibeath Haraloth. This name means circumcision hill. This is why Joshua circumcised the men. After the Israelites left Egypt, all the men who were able to serve in the army were circumcised. While in the desert, many of the fighting men did not obey the Lord. So the Lord vowed that they would not see the land where much food grows. The Lord had promised our ancestors that he would give us that land, but because of those men, he forced the people to wander in the desert for 40 years. During that time, all the fighting men died, and their sons took their place. But none of the boys who were born in the desert on the journey from Egypt had been circumcised. So Joshua circumcised them. Joshua finished circumcising all the men. The people camped at that place until all the men were healed. First Passover in Canaan. Then the Lord said to Joshua,
You were slaves in Egypt, and this made you ashamed. But today I have taken away that shame.
So Joshua named that place Gilgal, and that place is still named Gilgal today. The Israelites celebrated Passover while they were camped at Gilgal on the plains of Jericho. This was on the evening of the 14th day of the month. The day after Passover, the people ate food that grew in that land. They ate bread made without yeast and roasted grain. The next morning, the manna from heaven stopped coming. This happened the first day after the people ate the food that grew in the land of Canaan. From that time on, the Israelites did not get the manna from heaven. Luke chapter 22, verses 1 to 38. The plan to kill Jesus. It was almost time for the festival of Unleavened Bread, called Passover. The leading priests and teachers of the law wanted to kill Jesus, but they were trying to find a quiet way to do it, because they were afraid of what the people would do. One of Jesus' 12 apostles was named Judas Iscariot. Satan entered him, and he went and talked with the leading priests and the captains of the temple police. He talked to them about a way to hand Jesus over to them. The priests were very happy about this. They promised to give Judas money for doing this. He agreed. Then he waited for the best time to hand him over to them. He wanted to do it when no one was around to see it. The day of unleavened bread came. This was the day when the Jews always killed the lambs for the Passover. Jesus said to Peter and John, "Go and prepare the Passover meal for us to eat." They said to him, "Where do you want us to prepare the meal?" He said to them, "When you go into the city, you will see a man carrying a jar of water. Follow him. He will go into a house. Tell the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks that you please show us the room where he and his followers can eat the Passover meal.' Then the owner will show you a large room upstairs that is ready for us. Prepare the meal there." So Peter and John left. Everything happened the way Jesus had said, so they prepared the Passover meal. When the time came for them to eat the Passover meal, Jesus and the apostles were together at the table. Jesus said to them, "I wanted very much to eat this Passover meal with you before I die. I will never eat another Passover meal until it has given its full meaning in God's kingdom." Then Jesus took a cup of wine. He gave thanks to God for it and said, "Take this cup and give it to everyone here. I will not drink wine again until God's kingdom comes." And he took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke off some pieces, gave them to the apostles, and said, "This bread is my body that I am giving for you. Eat this to remember me." In the same way, after supper, Jesus took the cup of wine and said, "This wine represents the new agreement that God makes with his people. It will begin when my blood is poured out for you." Jesus said, "But here on this table is the hand of the one who will hand me over to my enemies. The Son of Man will die as God has planned, but it'll be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed." Then the apostles asked each other, "Which one of us would do that?" Later, the apostles began to argue about which one of them was the most important. But Jesus said to them, "The kings of the world rule over their people, and those who have authority over others want to be called the great providers for their people. But you must not be like that. The one with the most authority among you should act as if he is the least important. The one who leads should be like one who serves. Who is more important, the one serving or the one sitting at the table being served? Everyone thinks it's the one being served, but I have been with you as the one who serves. You men have stayed with me through many struggles, so I give you authority to rule with me in the kingdom the Father has given me. You will eat and drink at my table. In that kingdom, you will sit on thrones and judge the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, listen to me. Satan has asked to test each of you. He wants to do to you what a farmer does to his wheat, to separate the good grain from the chaff. I have prayed for you, Simon, that you will not lose your faith completely. And when you come back to me, help your brothers be stronger." But Peter said to Jesus,
Lord, I am ready to go to jail with you. I will even die with you.
But Jesus said, "Peter, before the cockerel crows tomorrow morning, you will say you don't know me. You will say this 3 times. Then Jesus said to the apostles, "Remember when I sent you out without money, a bag, or sandals? Did you need anything?" The apostles said, "No." Jesus said to them, "But now, if you have money or a bag, carry that with you. If you don't have a sword, sell your coat and buy one." The scripture said, "He was considered a criminal." This scripture must come true. It was written about me, and it is happening now. The follower said, "Look, Lord, here are 2 swords." Jesus said to them, "That's enough." Psalm chapter 50, verses 1 through 15. A psalm of Asaph. The most powerful God, the Lord, has spoken. He calls to everyone on earth from where the sun rises to where it sets. God shines like a light from Zion, the city of perfect beauty. Our God is coming and will not keep quiet. Fire burns in front of him. There is a great storm around him. He tells the sky and the earth to be witnesses as he judges his people. He says,
Bring my faithful people to me. Bring all who made an agreement with me by offering a sacrifice.
God is the judge, and the skies tell how fair he is. Salah. God says,
My people, listen to me. People of Israel, I will show my evidence against you. I am God, your God. The problem I have with you is not your sacrifices or the burnt offerings you bring to me every day. Why would I want more bulls from your barns or goats from your pens? I already own all the animals in the forest. I own all the animals on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains. Everything that moves in the fields is mine. If I were hungry, I would not ask you for food. I already own the world and everything in it. I don't eat the meat of bulls or drink the blood of goats.
You made promises to God Most High, so give him what you promised. Bring your sacrifices and offerings of thanksgiving. God says,
Call me when trouble comes. I will help you, and you will honor me.
Thank you, everyone. That was day 113. Join us for day 114. Joshua is the commander of the Lord's army, but the people have a problem with the city of Jericho. Joshua is going to need the Lord's help to get through. And in the book of Luke, Jesus is arrested, and Peter denies Jesus, just like Jesus said he would. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.